Sons of Anarchy, Season 7, Episode 7 is over, but we're just getting started here on post-show recaps. And now, here are the two guys who want to know how they could get a free iPad. I'm Rob Cesternino. Here's Josh Wigler. Josh, how are you?
I'm good. I have both of my eyes, so I'm doing better than some people today.
Oh, my God. Oh, boy. That
Ay,
really got, that
ay,
got crazy.
ay, ay, ay.
Ay. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Boy, Bobby is down to one eye.
He's getting autoed.
Yeah, he got autoed. August Marx strikes back, and he strikes hard at Bobby, and Bobby is out an eye, and that was not how I thought this episode was going to end.
No, I mean, I entered this episode fully expecting that we were going to do the autopsy report on Juice. And, like, Juice is immediately fine. I mean, he's going to jail, but he's alive. And it's Bobby who's in big trouble here. I mean, still alive as far as we know, but not looking good, looking really bad. That was unexpected.
All right, so we'll talk about everything with August Marks. I felt like we spent a lot of the episode in a big misdirect on what was going on with Gemma.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were in on the joke, which I thought was fun. I liked that.
Yes, we were in on the joke, but I felt like ultimately the joke didn't have a payoff. Where I thought that where we were going to have something where Gemma was going to kill Happy because she was trying to get away from this misunderstanding, and it ended up just completely being it was a misunderstanding. It was like a Three's Company, oh, when you said Chrissy had a bun in the oven, I thought, it was just like a whole big, other than, what happened with talking to Abel.
Yeah,
Or we're talking to Thomas.
that was. I mean, that's the punchline, Rob. It's subtle. It's smaller than you expect, but it's a big deal. And it feeds directly into your theory that you've been floating around that.
Yes.
Is Abel going to do something? Well, Abel certainly he has the knowledge. We got to see if he understands what he's heard, but that could be bad. That could be very bad for Gemma.
Okay, we'll talk about everything. All right, so we are keeping an eye out for your comments here on postshowrecaps.com for those of you guys who are joining us live. Of course, we also have our hashtag open on Twitter, PS Recaps, and then also on our YouTube channel at postshowrecaps.com/YouTube. All right, let's get into talking about this episode, and really it throws things really into a very, very crazy state now, where once again the Suns thought they had everything set up, that they were all ready to go with this plan. They were going to go with Alvarez, and they had the whole blackmail thing set up where we are going to say to August Marks, we got this letter from the pastor's family and says that you tried to threaten them and back off, and then everything was going to be good. And August Marks was not playing this.
Yeah, Marx was like, "No, bro, I'm gonna go a different way."
Yeah.
Good, nice try, but no, thank you.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? I mean, it seems like a pretty legit threat. Why is Marx not afraid of this threat?
Because he's the deadliest guy on the street.
That's it. He's just a badass. He's basically a badass, and that's what's going on here.
He's basically a badass. He's a mastermind.
Wow, mastermind of this game. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I expected. I don't know if I expected August Marks to just be like, yeah, good work, Jackson. You really got me. Okay, I will do whatever it is that you say. I don't think that I expected that, but I don't feel like I expected such a violent response against a guy like Bobby. What did Bobby do to anybody?
I don't know, Bob.
He's just singing his songs, driving his car.
Yeah, and I don't even know how they tracked down where Bobby was going to be, but they did, and they sort of drove him off the road, and they, again, send a message, and the message is, well, I've got an eye on you, I guess. I don't know. Poor Bobby, it feels very bad for him.
Yeah, eye for an eye. That was pretty wild. It was pretty wild indeed. And pretty amazing that he goes through to the lengths that he gives Sam Crow a free iPad, which is great.
Yeah, what do you think happened? Do you think August Marks got like the iPad Air, and then he was like, well, what am I going to do with the stupid old one? Like, oh, okay, I'll just,
Yeah,
next
he just
time
gives him the old one. He's not going to use it anyway.
I off somebody.
What are the odds that there's sensitive intel on that iPad that the Suns are able to use against August Marks?
I
Slim to
would think
zero. Slim to
very
zero.
slim,
Slim to zero.
very slim.
Slim to zero.
Yeah. Maybe are there fingerprints on the iPad?
Maybe, but they'd probably be Moses Cartwright's fingerprints.
Yes. Moses Cartwright, was he from 6 Feet Under?
Yeah, that's Officer Keith,
Yes, yes,
David's boyfriend.
yes. Matthew St. Patrick.
I was excited to see him. I really like that actor. Although if August Marx is going to be such a big deal, we got to see him on the show more. We were
Yeah.
complaining about this last week.
Marks. It's
We
a
were complaining about this last week. I think we can complain about it again this week. I know he's a busy guy. I think Scott St. Pierre told us that he's on a show right now. I don't remember the name of the
How
show.
to Get Away with Murder,
Is
ironically.
that right?
Yeah.
Well, he's getting away with not having to be on Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
So that would be nice if he was able to pop up every now and then. But if we're gonna have a consolation prize for a bad guy, I think Keith from 6 Feet Under is pretty good.
Okay. All right. Well, let's talk about everything that we go through in this episode. I guess let's go to the Gemma stuff, because Gemma is under the impression the whole episode that the jig is up. She doesn't know what Juice told them, and that Juice probably said that Gemma killed Tara, and that she is going to be in big trouble. And Josh, I felt like in this episode, I just was saying the whole time, well, why doesn't anybody call Jax? Why doesn't Gemma get on the phone with anybody?
Yeah, well, because she's probably just scared crapless. She doesn't know if she can call Jax, because if she calls Jax, she's like, "Hey, Jax, what's going on?" He's like, "Hey, you killed my wife." So I think she's just petrified.
Okay, well, I'll give you that. Okay, maybe Gemma is just freaked out. But then the Sons get the word that, like, oh, your mom is probably freaked out. And instead of like, oh, you know what? Let me call her and let her know everything is okay. It's like, hey, Bobby, why don't you drive up to the cabin, and then you go tell her. Like, why is nobody just getting on the phone with anybody in this episode?
Phones are, I don't know. They only have burners on Sons of Anarchy, right? They don't have real phones.
So nobody knows anybody else's
Nobody
number?
knows anybody's number. It's all magic.
Am I nitpicking here, or
A little bit of a nitpick, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I just was like, well, why doesn't anybody call and just say oh, hey, Gemma. Like, even the way that they were like wording the stuff to Gemma, it's like, oh, Jax needs you to handle it. It's a mother and son thing. And then Gemma's like,
Happy's delivery was basically like, yeah, we're taking you to this cabin to kill you. It's definitely how it came off. I mean, if you're Gemma and that's just your assumption to begin with, the way that Happy is delivering the information doesn't make it any easier to believe that he's just like taking you to the cabin for any other reason.
because then when they show up at the cabin and Gemma sees those two people, and they're like, see, it's a mother and son thing. Like, it wasn't even like the mother and son were having issues where you could call it like a mother and son thing, where they were like fighting with each other, and only Gemma as a mother-son specialist.
They were fighting the demons of drug addiction.
I guess so.
It's a mother-son battle against drug addiction.
Yeah, the whole thing I just felt like was like, why did they have to like take them to camp? Why did Gemma need to get involved with them? It just felt like I understand they were just trying to get laying track to get to this thing to happen, but I felt like at a couple of points in that story, I was just like, wait, why? Like, why is everybody acting like doing what they're doing right now?
Right. Well, they did what they did, Rob.
They did what they did. All right. Well, and of course, the big thing that we touched on that came up as part of that story is that Gemma is holding up Thomas, and she's talking to Thomas, and talking about accidents happen, and it was an accident when I killed your mom, and here comes crazy Abel. And he got kicked out of school today because he was fighting with a first grader, and he overhears this conversation. And Josh, I think it was 2 weeks ago,
Yep.
where during Hammer Time, I said, boy, during the I have to protect my family speech from Abel, what is going on with Abel? I said, is Abel going to shoot somebody this season? And so it looks like we are going down that path.
It looks like it. It certainly there's, they weren't giving us so much Abel without a reason. Abel had been really a prevalent character in the first several episodes of this season, and it's just continuing. And this is a really big step for Abel. Where it's going, we don't know for sure, but it doesn't look good. And I think your theory that Abel could be the person who kills Gemma or does something, does something horrible in this world of Charming, it seems like it's gonna come out. I think that is where we're going. And it's scary to think what this little kid's gonna do. It's scary. I mean, we know what his father's capable of, so who the hell knows what this kid is capable of?
Now, do you think that maybe him actually shooting somebody is too far, but do you think that he could say something to Jax
Yeah,
about how,
I
like,
think that
why did Grandma kill Mommy?
I think he could be the leak because I don't think that Juice is going to be the leak anymore. I think Juice had his chance, right?
Yeah.
It seems like Juice is, sitting on that secret. He's gonna hide that one. I don't know why, but I think if somebody is, if that truth is gonna come out, I feel like Abel would be the one. And like I could see it being something like Abel says something to Wendy, and then Wendy takes it to Unser, and then Unser takes it to whoever, to Jax, to Jerry, to somebody, even to Gemma, and then gets his head blown off. But I feel like Abel overhearing that conversation is going to open up some doors, and I don't think that we'll get resolution on it for a little while, just because of how the season has been paced. But I think that that's going to kickstart some stuff that's going to be really bad for the whole situation.
But I think that Abel will play a big factor in this as we go down the stretch here, because, I mean, the show is called Sons of Anarchy,
Yeah.
and I think that the fact that, the first episode is when Abel is being born, I think that Abel is going to play a big factor in, the ultimate undoing of all of this stuff.
I agree. I think it's right there in the title, as you said, and I think just how much more important Abel has been this season than he has been since season 3. The less we talk about that, the better. But basically, since then, he's really now becoming kind of this actual character on the show, and he has a crucial piece of information, and what he does with it, what he understands of it, because I think that is certainly a question. Does he know what does he really process what he just heard Gemma say to his brother? I think it's going to be interesting, but it's definitely not nothing. This isn't just on the show for no reason. Something big is going to come out of this, whether it's him pulling a gun on somebody or him just passing along the word. I think something big is going to happen with Abel.
Okay, let's go back to Juice, because that was really the reason for all of Gemma's paranoia in this episode. I asked you this question last week.
Yes.
At the start of the last episode.
I've anticipated you asking this again, but continue.
Okay, so where 2 weeks ago, the episode ended with Juice holding Gemma at gunpoint, and then the next episode starts with Gemma just, like, walking down the road. We don't get to see what happens. This past week, we see Juice get taken away by the Sons, and then this episode picks up, God knows how much longer, an hour, a day, 12 hours, some period of time after that fact.
Yeah.
Do you feel like
enough time where he had a million chances to run, according to Bobby?
Yeah. Do you feel like this was a cheat to skip all of this time that we've been waiting all season long for the Sons to get Juice back in the fold? We don't see any of that reunion. We just start off with Jax giving the cut back to Juice and saying, like, all right, Juice, you know what to do.
Yeah, I do think it's a cheat. I gave this a pass last week with Gemma and Juice just kind of going their separate ways, and I still don't think that was the worst thing that Sons of Anarchy has ever done. I would have liked to have seen that confrontation play out a little bit more, but I think that it was fine, and you can kind of imagine how that would go down with Juice just kind of shaking his head at Gemma and just, like, getting in the car and driving off. That's fairly easy to explain. I think with this, first off, I don't know how the Sons don't just kill Juice. That's such a hard question for me to find a plausible answer to. Why doesn't Jax? Why don't they all just bring him to meet Mr. Mayhem? I don't get it. And it's not just the fact that he betrayed Jax's confidence in season 6. It's not just the fact that he's been on the run for weeks, and it's now it's also he shows up to the Mayans and says, I'm going to give you any piece of information against the Sons if you can get me to Mexico. That's a huge, huge, huge betrayal. And somehow, we don't see it, but somehow Jax and the rest of the Sons decide that they're better off by sending Juice into prison to kill Lynn. What's the risk? It's a big risk, but why not take it? I don't understand. I don't know why that they make this leap, and the show doesn't show us. And I think it's a hard sell, and I think the show needed to sell it to us, and they didn't sell me at all. And I'm glad to see Juice still alive because I love the character, and I'm glad to have more of him on the show. But it was a big leap for me, Rob, and I really think that the show missed an opportunity to show, not just to show Juice with the Sons a little bit more, because now that he's in prison, who knows what kind of scenes he's going to have with the Sons for the rest of the season. We'd waited so long for something like this, but also it's a big leap in logic that I think we deserved to see. I think that the show really whiffed on this one for me.
Okay. So, Josh, since we have this blank missing time, should we fill in the blanks and role play? Do you want to be Jax or do you want to be Juice?
I hear we're really good at role playing, Rob.
Yes, yes. Who would you rather be, Jax or Juice?
I'll be Juice.
Okay. All right. Okay. So here I'm Jax. So let me act tough. Like, okay. Juice, man. WTF, bro.
I know, I screwed up. I really like you guys. Can we still be friends?
No, Juice, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. You really made me very upset. You went on first off, you told that thing to Nero, and that was not what I wanted to hear. And then I told you that I was very disappointed in you, and then you disappear. And now I hear you going to the Mayans and you would tell Mayans all our secrets?
Yeah, that's legit. You should probably just kill me.
I mean,
what other way does it go, Rob? I don't.
Unless Juice is going to tell the Sons, like, hey, Jax, let me just explain something. Gemma killed Tara.
Right, and clearly he didn't do that.
I mean, other than him saying, like, guys, but I really want to be back in the Sons. Like, is there anything I can do? I'll make out with you. Let me I'll do whatever you want. Just let me back in the Sons. Like, well, there is this one thing you could do.
Right. I don't get it. If Jax already has Tully, in prison, Marilyn Manson's character, if he already has him as an ally in prison, and he seems to have control over that prison, he has enough control that he can, buy a room, for full-scale conversation with Jax without having to worry about being recorded or anything. If he's already friends with a guy this powerful, why can't he just, trust this guy Tully to just kill Henry Lynn off? Why does he need Juice to go in? I don't get it. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't really buy. Again, let's see where it goes.
Maybe I would buy it if they showed us the scene. If they showed us what went down between Jax and Juice. But there's such a gap and it's such a leap. I don't know. I'm very frustrated by it. I have to admit.
I mean, if the penalty is death for being a rat, and the penalty was death already for Juice, like they were already going to kill Juice.
Right.
And then he tried to be a rat to go and say to the Mayans, like, I'll sell out all of the secrets of the Sons.
That's the thing, yeah.
It's almost like he should have 2 death sentences now. I don't understand why they would say, okay, well, let me tell you how you could make it up to us.
Right, and so there's that. It's like he pushed it over the line, and combine that with the fact that I don't think that they need Juice to be the guy to kill Henry Lynn. So I don't know, Rob. Doesn't.
How about on top of the fact that Roosevelt already had flipped Juice once against the Sons.
Right.
And so, I mean, how could they trust him that he's not going to become a state witness again?
Well, that's what Happy says at the table. Happy's like, what if he turns the tables on us? And then Jack says, well, then Tully kills Juice.
Okay.
So, I don't know. Why take the risk? You're already dancing on a razor's edge. Why go here? Just kill Juice. I know that the show loves Juice. I know that we love Juice, and we love
Juice.
We love watching that character, but he was backed into a corner that he couldn't get out of. And somehow he's out of it, but we're not allowed to see how he gets out of it. And I think that strikes me as a real cheat. I'm not happy about it. I'm especially unhappy about it, Rob. Maybe we want to get into this storyline now. Is like, so So Sons of Anarchy, they're like 60-minute episodes, actual 60-minute episodes, hour and a half long
Not
on
like
TV.
the news magazine.
No, not like that. Not like that. They're really long episodes, and I would be good with that if every moment mattered, if every moment counted, and especially in an episode like this where we're following up on Juice taking that long walk with Sam Crow, where you know that like he's just marching off to his death, or you feel that might be the case, and then it starts with this big leap where Juice is now somehow fine, and still we get a 60-minute episode, and like 15 of those minutes are spent on this Greensleeves schmohawk. Like, who is this guy? Why do we care about the Greensleeves stuff when we could have 15 minutes of the Juice storyline? It seems like that seems like such a waste. That seems like fat that this show could totally drink.
How dare you, Josh? We needed the Greensleeves storyline. He was blackmailing the pastor's family.
Come on, Rob.
He found the phone that had the young man that the pastor was hooking up with, and then he was blackmailing them.
Or Jax could have just gone to the pastor's family, and the pastor's family could be like, yeah, that sounds like a reasonable deal. And then, like, 15 minutes of the episode
The name of the episode was Greensleeves.
Well, then don't name the episode Greensleeves.
They had
don't
to
have any of the Greensleeves stuff. I hated the Greensleeves storyline. I think that's my least favorite storyline of Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, what was going on there? So
it was terrible.
He's a pimp. And would you say, is he a good pimp? I mean, he seems like
a bad pimp.
I don't know who puts the O in ho.
Winsome. Winsome puts the O in ho.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess she didn't want to hook up with some of the guys that he was getting for her, but he seemed like he like got her. She was like laughing. It seemed like I was like, oh, maybe he's a good manager of his people that work for him.
And then he threatened to break her arms.
To break her arm again. Yeah.
I hate Greensleeves. The best moment of the season so far was when Greensleeves got impaled on that big shard of glass because it was just over. I'm just glad that character cannot appear again.
Yes. All right. Well, then we'll have to agree to disagree on the greatness of Greensleeves.
Come on, Rob.
I thought he was best character in the history of the show.
Oh my God, Rob. I will fight you. I will ride to your house and fight you.
Come on, the Greensleeves was pretty good though.
It was terrible. It was horrible.
I heard they're doing a Sons of Anarchy. They're gonna do a spin-off that's a prequel of Greensleeves before being a pimp.
Greensleeves original?
Yeah. Now, why did Greensleeves pretend to be Jewish?
He was Jewish.
Okay, I thought they said he was pretending.
He was just very bad at being Jewish.
Yes. Okay.
Which I can say as a half-Jew.
Yeah. Why did he pull the Star of David out, Josh?
To show that he's Jewish. He's like, not my tribe, wrong tribe.
Yeah. Well, what was his tribe? What tribe were they accusing him of being in?
Moto Maji?
I don't know. He like pulled out the Star of David like it was the power of veto. Like you can't get me.
Immunity.
Yeah, well, why was there so many Jewish references on this episode of Sons of Anarchy?
A very anti-Semitic episode of Sons of Anarchy.
Very anti-Semitic. When they went to Red Woody and the movie that was being filmed, they did I'm trying to figure out. I'm looking at what's going on, and I'm trying to figure out, well, what is this movie going to be? Like at some point they're going to tell us the title of the movie, and then it's going to be like, oh, but it was a take on the popular dish lox and bagels.
Clocks and bagels.
Yeah, I don't even understand how that's the name of a movie. Like what? Like it's not like
the man's wiener.
No, I got that. I got that.
So it's more of a scene.
Yeah, but I think that maybe it might be time to question the management at Red Woody. You
think they need to hire a creative director?
A creative director, because I just
Rob,
don't think.
Are you looking for a job?
I'm gonna send my resume over because anything in bagels, I'm not sure necessarily who's buying this movie.
I don't know. It was weird. It was weird. I don't know. All of the Sons of Anarchy is weird with racial stuff, and now with a little bit of quiet anti-Semitism. I don't really know. I don't know how to weigh in on it, Rob.
I don't know.
It was very strange. Clocks and bagels, I don't think is going to be on
a hot seller.
I don't think it's going to be on my queue. I can tell you that much. Yeah.
Look, I mean, it's not like a spoof of like a movie of something like that.
You know who's a big fan of clocks and bagels? Apparently, is Unser.
Unser, he was like, yeah, Unser. Again, that my theory of Unser is just a huge perv. Like, really is, that I think that's looking a little more like that's accurate.
How did he fit it into the bagel? That's pretty good. Did you see that?
Yeah, is that whitefish? All right, so let's go back to Unser talking about the sheriff or the cop that got shot a couple of weeks ago.
Egley.
Okay, so is this plausible to you that Unser said like, hey Jax, I talked to her and it's good, don't worry about her, she's not gonna say anything.
Yeah, she went to school with Jax. She was friends with Jax.
So that's it? That's the end of this story?
Yeah.
That's it?
That's it. No more.
I mean, we saw Chib say last week that they were going to have to do what they needed to do if she woke up from the coma. Do you think that the Sons are going to disobey what Unser said, or do you think that the Nazis are going to try to come in and try to take her out?
That seems more likely. I could see the Nazis coming after her, but I do think that the Sons like Egley. I buy that. I believe that.
So they don't want to kill her?
No, they don't want to kill her. If they can avoid it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's very good. Let's talk about Nero.
They're not cop killers except for Juice.
Well, let's talk about Nero.
Okay.
Nero, I thought Nero was gonna die in this episode.
Nero's one of those characters who every episode I think is gonna die. I'm walking into every episode prepared for Nero to die.
I really all throughout the episode I'm like, oh, Nero's gonna die this episode.
That's why I think I was shocked by the Bobby thing, because he's like the character I was not like walking into this episode prepared for anything bad to have happen to, but I'm always prepared for something terrible to happen to Nero. Always prepared. I'm now prepared for Unser, for something horrible to happen to Unser, but not Bobby. But yeah, Nero, there were several times, especially because like he's saying goodbye. That was like the big like gag with Piney. I thought back in season 4 that like Piney kind of had this big farewell episode before he gets shotgunned in the cabin. So I felt like, oh no, this could be it. Just as Nero's like finally getting his head on straight, he's about to get toasted, but not yet. Could still happen.
So Nero wants to get out the game, and his uncle that had the farm, I think he was trying to. It was $1 million he needed before, right? And when in the first season he was in.
I don't remember. You would remember. You've watched it more recently.
Yeah, I believe that was what he was trying to do, and he was trying to get to $1 million so he could go buy the farm and take his kid there. So now the uncle is going to say, "Look, Nero, I'll take $150 up front, and then you pay me the rest."
Is it worth everything that Nero has like suffered through in these past few months to get that kind of discount in the rate?
Probably.
What are like a few dozen lives between?
Yeah,
like $900,000 drop off.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't anybody that it was like just people that worked for Nero. It wasn't like his actual
friends
family
or anything.
Yeah, family.
Sure, totally.
And so Nero is going to go buy this farm, and so Nero is trying to get out. He's trying to like tie up all his loose ends. First, he wants Gemma to come with him.
Yeah. Probably a good move if you're Gemma.
Yeah. No, Gemma's like, I can't leave my family.
Gemma, leave your family.
Leave your family.
Leave your family, Gemma.
Do that.
Gemma,
Do that.
Get out of Charming. Go.
Okay.
Take deal.
So first Nero tries to go to Jax and say, hey, Jax, I want you to buy out my share of Diosa.
Right. And Jack's like, I don't want to do that.
Nah, come on.
I like you. You're cool.
Yeah.
Stick around.
So then goes to Alvarez and says, "Hey, want to buy my share of Diosa for $150?"
The Sons and Alvarez, they're best friends again. Everybody's like so fast. They're just super tight now.
Yeah. Now, do you think there's going to be some sort of a fallout when Jax finds out that Nero sold half of the business to Alvarez?
Well, I don't think Alvarez. Did he say yes yet, or is he just thinking about it?
No, I thought he said yes. I thought he said like, "Okay, that sounds good. I'll give you the money."
Frankly, maybe Redwoody's going to be a better look with Alvarez in the mix.
Yeah,
I think that might be like a secret skill of Alvarez's.
Yeah, when the Sons are sitting around the table like, all right, guys, did you hear what Lila's working on? It's called Clocks and Bagels. Like, and Alvarez is like, I don't get it, Prez.
That's not funny, Prez.
That's not funny. Like, and they're like, no, 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 no.
You should fire her.
Lox and bagels.
Yeah,
You
I
get
think
it? And he's like, no, no, Prez, I get it. I get it. It's not funny.
it's not going to sell.
Nobody's gonna buy that. Nobody's gonna buy that, Prez.
You should fire Lila.
Yeah. Lila, I don't think she's cut out for this.
I'm really excited for Alvarez to be involved in Redwoody. I think that might be what the business needs.
Yeah.
I think he could be very good.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think. Do I think that there's going to be any fallout between Alvarez and the Suns here? I feel like that would be too topsy-turvy, right? Don't you? You got to have to imagine that at least until like maybe it comes out that Lynn was not responsible for any of this stuff. Like then maybe all hell breaks loose again. But otherwise, you got to imagine that the Mayans and the Suns are good now, right? Wouldn't that would just be too much if they divorced again?
Yeah. But do you think that there's any chance Nero can just get away to the farm, have a happy ever after ending?
There's a chance. It's not completely out of the realm of possibility. I think it would be like the final couple of scenes of the series would be like Nero on the farm. But it's going to be a long road to get there, I think. It's not going to be straightforward. And the likelier outcome is that Nero just gets like shot in the face by Gemma.
Okay. So we'll see exactly what
Gemma's just going to shoot everybody in the face.
Yeah. Did Nero always have that car?
I don't know. I don't remember. I don't remember Nero's
there
car.
was a lot of like glamour shots of Nero's blue car in this episode.
It is pretty sweet. Slick ride.
Pretty sweet blue car. So when they who's the hooker that was with Greensleeves?
Winsome.
Winsome.
You win some, you lose some.
Yeah. And so when they were rescuing her from the life with Greensleeves and getting her to come be a hooker at Diosa, like what was your take on that? Like are we coming away from that like these guys are her savior?
I mean that's what we're supposed to think, I think.
Yeah. How do you feel about that? I
mean, it seems like they're better than Greensleeves. It's not hard to be better than Greensleeves.
Yeah. But is that a I don't know. I'm just having a hard time wrapping my head around we rescued her from this life of prostitution and putting her into a
she's
better
an escort now, Rob.
Now she's an escort. Yeah,
it's legal.
I guess so. I guess it's a fine line.
And if she screws up at work, she's not going to have like her arms broken
or her lips cut off.
That's an improvement.
Yes.
Those are decent benefits.
Yes. I like. Who said? Was it Chibs that said when they talked about getting her lips cut off? They said, "Yeah, I guess that would impact your work, right?"
Chibs is a real asshole tonight.
Well, he hasn't seen Jerry lately.
I gotta be honest. Did not care for Chibs saying the Jew pimp. I didn't like when Greensleeves died and he said shalom.
Yeah, you didn't like that. Chibs
I'm feeling attacked for the first time on Sons of Anarchy. I don't think that they've been anti-Semantic before on Sons of Anarchy, but now I'm feeling it.
Yeah, Chibs seemed a little annoyed with Jax during the whole Greensleeves murder.
During the whole episode, too, I think. Like, even when, like, Jax was, like, at the table and, like, making his talk about, like, you guys are my family now. I could never repay the debt. I love you guys. And Chibs is like, yeah, we love you too, Jackie boy. Just shut up. Move on. Yeah, Chibs is a real dick tonight.
Yeah. John Wayne in the chat room says, how could they tell that girl that it's safer at Diosa? 26 people were killed there 2 days ago.
But she won't break her arm. She'll just die.
I mean, she might die in a workplace accident.
Right. Accidents happen, Rob.
Yes.
I've heard this.
She might die if the triad comes in and shoots up the place. I mean, also, if you're Alvarez, it's kind of like, I don't know if I'd be so quick to want to buy into that business also.
Because it had just been shot up?
Yeah. And it was just a major mass shooting.
He's probably just like, lightning doesn't strike twice.
Yeah, I guess so.
Good odds that it won't happen again.
You make a good point. What'd you think about the Chucky scene tonight?
Hey, Rob, I'm thinking about Chucky.
Yes, what are you thinking about?
So let's break this down. So a few weeks ago, we were talking about who ratted out Sam Crow to the Triad? You know, who basically gave the Triad the information they needed to do the Diosa massacre and take the guns out of Stockton? And we talked about, you know, jury seems like the straightforward answer, but you had reasons for why it might not be jury.
I did?
Yeah, because they don't, like, jury knows the whole spiel about how Lynn was supposedly responsible for Tara's death, but Lynn doesn't know that when Jax takes him down. So if it was just jury who was the rat,
Got it. Yes.
you know, why doesn't he know the full story? So, and even tonight, you know, it seems like at the club, Bobby's talking about we're finding out about the guy that jury knew, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like they know that jury's missing, something weird is happening with jury, but they also talk about the rat as if it's a different individual.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if Chucky's the rat.
No, it can't be Chucky.
I'm wondering if Chucky's the rat, and it's just it's an early stages theory of mine right now that stemmed from two things. One was watching the scene with him and Gemma, where he tells Gemma, you know, you can talk to me, right? Everybody thinks I'm a joke. Everybody just thinks I'm the club mascot, but I'm a really good listener. And you know, that's interesting. And I kind of just, you know, it was the first time I ever looked at Chucky like, okay, so let me look at you as though you are not a joke. What else could you possibly be? And it was right after the scene when they're talking about the rat. And I'm thinking, what if Chucky is the rat? What kind of game could he possibly have?
He's a good listener?
What possible game could he have? What possible reason could he have for doing it? And I was quick to forget, but I looked it up right after, that Chucky was associated with the Lynn Triad when we first met him. He was the Lynn Triad's bookkeeper, and he was, like, you know, he was on the bad side of the Lynn Triad when he was in prison, and like they came after him because he was good at counterfeiting money and stuff. And I don't know, there was some sort of breakup there. They're the ones who cut off his fingers also, so that can't be ignored. But he has history with the Triad. Is there anything that they could have done to sway him back to their side? So I don't know. All I'm saying is, like, keep an eye on Chucky. If we're supposed to believe that Chucky,
Like Bobby?
if he isn't just a joke, if Chucky's not just a joke, what else is Chucky? And if we're still wondering who's the rat, Chucky's a candidate. I think Chucky's a candidate for being the. And listen, you know I'm always on Mole Patrol, Rob.
Yes. All right. Well, we'll keep the Mole Patrol fired up. I don't think that they're going to do this with Chucky. I don't think he would want to hurt the Sons. The Sons have been nothing but good to him.
Well, maybe it's for, like, benign reasons. Like, maybe it's not like he's like actively against the Sons, but maybe he's doing something that he thinks is harmless by giving some information to somebody associated with the Triad or something like that. And that could be how they're getting their intel.
I mean, I feel like what probably happened with that scene is that I feel like with only a couple episodes left, like they want to, you know, give something to the actor that was Chucky. We hardly saw Chucky at all this season,
but
and rather than
we've also gotten another Chucky moment earlier where Jax, like, had that big moment with him where he's like, Chucky, thank you so much for everything you're doing, and Chuck says, yeah, you're my family. So, like, there have been a couple of Chucky moments that maybe if you just watch them from a different angle, maybe are a little suspicious.
Like, I think they want to give him something as opposed to, like, have him, like, come in with, like, a whoopee cushion and be like, hey, guys, look what I just found in the garage, the whoopee cushion, ah! And I think they want to, like, almost, like, give the character some, like, piece of actual, like, you know, acting to do.
Well, don't sleep on Chucky is all I'm saying. I think the likelier candidate for the rat is RoboCop, based on, you know, everything we talked about the other week when he just, like, shot the pawn shop guy in the face.
Yeah.
He's the more obvious choice, I think. And I'm not committed to the idea that Chucky is the rat, but I'm thinking about it, and I'm watching for it now. And go watch some of these Chucky scenes and just tell me if I'm crazy. If I'm crazy, I'm crazy, but go and keep an eye on it, I think.
All right, well, we will keep an eye on the Chucky stuff going forward. I think it's a good theory, and that's what's fun about, you know, a show like this where we don't know, nobody knows what's going to happen in these last 6 episodes. We can throw out some crazy theories.
No idea, but just an idea.
Just like my theory that Abel was going to kill somebody this season.
That's right. And I've mostly been wrong this entire season, so I'm probably wrong. Let's just be honest.
Should we talk about Wendy before we get to questions?
What did Wendy do tonight?
She had, like, a little bit going on. You know, I'm trying to decide if I think Wendy is going to get killed here.
They can't kill Wendy. Oh, man. This show can't kill Wendy. Can they kill Wendy?
Well, Gemma gives Wendy the option of like, hey, if you want to run, you can run. She's like, I'm done.
They
I'm
can't.
done
They
running.
can't kill Tara and Wendy, can
No,
they? I mean, they can. I'll be really pissed off. Won't be
yeah,
happy about that. I think Wendy. I think Wendy has immunity. I think that jangly necklace she's got is it's immunity.
that's the immunity
Yeah,
necklace.
yeah, her dangles.
Whose station wagon was Bobby driving?
I don't know whose car is that. It's a great car.
You like the station wagon?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what ended up happening there. So where do we think this goes next week? All right, let's pick it up. So it's episode 8, Sons of Anarchy. Here we go. Where do we start?
It's probably like 10 days later, given the way that all of these episodes have been ending and starting up again, right?
Like, is it like, hey man,
Some
we
time
got
has
it.
passed.
Marx has Bobby. We got to go find him.
They got to do something. They got to figure out how to save Bobby.
Yeah.
That's gonna be top priority.
Okay. So what do we do? It's like we're trying to raid Marx's facility and try to. It's like we're going on like a rescue mission.
It'll probably be, Marx is saying like, hey, I've got your man. You back off on your threat. Also give me the pastor's family so I can kill them, and then you get Bobby back.
Okay, so some sort of a hostage trade-off.
I think so.
Okay, that sounds good. What's going to go on with Gemma with the pastor's family? Does she have to deliver them?
Yeah, I could see that.
Okay. And it seems like we're going to be pretty preoccupied with that stuff. What is going to get us closer to the ultimate discovery of Jax finding out that Gemma killed Tara?
Jax just needs to spend some time with his kid.
Yeah, he just needs to go hang out with Abel for a minute.
Go be a dad, and you're going to find out who killed your wife.
Okay. Does Juice get closer to killing Lynn in jail?
Yes, unless this guy that he's now sharing a bunk with has been sent to kill him.
Whoa. That seems. Why would they want to kill him?
Why wouldn't you want to kill Juice at this point?
At the point that you sent him to the prison, though, I feel like.
Well, I'm not saying necessarily sent by the Sons, but sent by somebody.
Sent by somebody. All right.
Maybe sent by Happy, because Happy did not seem too happy with letting Juice do this thing.
No, he did not. Scott, let's go ahead and bring up some of the questions from the listeners of the show right now. Of course, you can send in your questions on Twitter, hashtag PSRecaps, also on YouTube at postshowrecaps.com/YouTube. All right, Josh, you want to get us started off today?
Yeah, let's do it. All right, our first question in from Mark Solera, who asks, was I the only one who thought they were going to pull the end of 7 with Bobby's head? Yeah, I mean, it was like 7, like 1/7 was where they went. It was like 1/7. Just
yes.
the eyeball.
I did not think it was going to be Bobby's head because the box was too small, and Bobby would have like a huge head, especially with all that hair.
It's a lot of hair.
It's a lot of hair, so I didn't think it was going to be his head. But I'm like, okay, well, what part of Bobby is in the box? As soon as they delivered the box, is that where you were going with that also?
Yeah, I was like, oh no, what's in there?
What's in there? What's going on?
Something from the set of Clocks and Bagels.
Oh no,
Yeah.
They sent like a half dozen bagels.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no, that's not a pickle.
No, it's not a pickle.
No. Okay.
We've got a question in from Jason Burning, who asks, how did Nero get to the cabin without seeing Bobby and the bros?
Yeah. So, did Nero just drive fast that he drove past where Bobby was?
Or Moses Cartwright was just very good at picking up Bobby and just like getting out of there immediately. Like maybe that's like a 2-minute operation.
Yeah, so Nero, did he arrived at the cabin before Bobby got hit, right?
No, because Bobby gets hit in the daytime and Nero shows up at night.
Okay, got it. So
Nero is getting to the cabin after Bobby should have gotten there.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm looking at my notes. So Bobby gets driven off the cliff, and then we see Nero at the cabin. So maybe there was just they just were done over there, and right? I mean, you could let's say it's 4:30. Bobby gets driven off the road. They pull Bobby out. They take him in the van. They drive away. When Nero comes driving down the road at 6, he doesn't stop and say, "Is that a station wagon that's off the side of the road?"
That's right. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. What do you think of that shot of Abel in the bed with the crazy eyes?
Oh, that's terrifying.
Yeah, yeah, very scary.
You gotta be scared of Abel.
You got to. You
Yeah.
got to. Okay, so let's take another question. Let's go to Jack J. And here's what Jack J has to say. His question is, let me pull up the full version. Finally, the Sons pay for their doings. Bobby won't die, or they would have shown him dead at the end of the episode. Where do you think the guys think Sutter is going with this Abel knows Gemma killed Tara plotline? Abel killing Gemma would be insane even for this show. I don't think it's going to quite be that Abel kills Gemma. Like, I don't know. I don't think that's quite. I think that they're probably going to be Abel tells Jax what's going on is probably more likely.
Yeah, Abel tells Jax, or Abel tells Wendy. Wendy tells Jax. Wendy tells somebody. I think Abel passing the info along seems like the likeliest thing. But I mean, we've seen. Again, we talked about this before. We've seen kids kill people on Sons of Anarchy before, so maybe that's where they're going. Who knows? Who knows? Something bad. But wherever it's going is going to be awful.
Could Abel kill somebody else? Like, he heard the whole speech of like, oh, I killed somebody, I killed your mom, and that was an accident. Sometimes accidents happen. Could Abel potentially kill somebody and just be like, it was an accident?
Like he kills Courtney Love at preschool.
Well, my concern would be, could he
Another kid?
Could he kill Tommy?
Oh, good Lord.
It was an accident.
Oh, good Lord. Well, he wouldn't be the first Thomas Teller to die.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, man. All right, let's take another question.
This is from Nita Shaw. Nita Shaw says, Greensleeves reminds me of Cabin Douche.
Oh, who would you rather? Greensleeves or Cabin Douche?
Is this a ding, marry, kill? Can I just kill them both?
Yeah, you like Cabin Douche better.
I prefer Cabin Douche every day of the week to
Yes. Yes. I prefer him as his by his given name, Adam Greenblatt.
Oh man, this is I'm keeping it PG-13. F Greensleeves.
The song or the guy?
Both.
we didn't talk about the montage, Josh.
Yeah, we didn't need this montage, did we?
Yeah. You didn't like Greensleeves?
Greensleeves. No, Greensleeves was not my favorite Sons of Anarchy musical number.
Yeah. There was a couple of references to the word "I" in the Greensleeves song.
Oh, is that why you think you used it?
Did it all get tied in?
Maybe.
Yeah. Let me bring that up. Give me the next question while I bring up the Greensleeves lyrics.
This is a great question. Cody Engel wants to know: do you think that Nero is a federal agent?
Do I think Nero is a federal agent? I'm gonna say no.
0.0%.
0.0%. I do not believe that.
Man, that would be a great twist. Federal agent Nero?
No, I feel like just they kind of did that with the cartel already.
Right. Yeah.
Where it was like you didn't know that they were.
That Danny Trejo was like secretly working with the feds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see if I have
We've got another one in. This is a question about the preview. I don't want to read the question about the preview.
Okay, no question. No question.
No questions about the preview. If we can skip this one, Scott.
Yeah.
Mark Solera asks, if Bobby survives, whatever is going to happen to him, who's going to rock the eye patch better, Bobby Elvis or the governor from The Walking Dead?
Bobby, come on. You know the Gov is the king of the eye patch.
Bobby, you look pretty good. I approve of the eye patch on you, but I rocked it first.
Claimed.
What about Bobby or Otto? Who's better with the eye patch? Ding, marry, kill. Bobby with an eye patch. Otto with the eye patch. The governor with the eye patch.
Okay. I think I'm going to. I think I'm going to ding. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ding the governor.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
With or without the eye patch, frankly.
Yeah. Yes. And then I'm going to marry Bobby, and I'm going to kill Otto.
That seems pretty easy.
Yes. That's going to be scary when I kill Otto.
Good luck.
Does anyone have a cross that I could borrow?
Yeah. I don't know. Otto, I once upon a time thought was unkillable.
Yeah. Um, he is not. He is not. Okay. Let's go ahead. Let's take this one. I keep getting the long question. This is from Devin Grove. How would the story continue if the Gemma punchline would have been her going completely crazy and badass, kind of a badass, and killing Happy, Montez, and Rat Boy, just as Nero comes running to the rescue, and she has to reveal the whole thing to him and then kill him? It would be the Sun's own complete WTF Red Wedding-like scene. That would have been crazy.
It sounds like that's what you wanted, Rob.
That's not what I wanted, but that's what I thought was where it was going.
It's what you needed. It's what you needed, Rob.
It's not what I need, but I feel like it would have like been something. Like I just felt like the Gemma thing, like that the whole misunderstanding in this episode was just sort of like a an episode filler, and it really didn't move the storyline other than the one thing with Abel.
Right.
I felt like oh, okay, well, here we go. At least this is gonna be something. And it turned out that wasn't really the something of the episode.
That would have really made her a cabin douche.
She would have been a cabin douche. Is this Piney's cabin? What cabin is this?
Yes, I believe so.
Man, nothing good happens up there.
That's true. Bad juju at Piney's cabin.
Yes. Okay. Let's see. Do we have another question?
That's it for the questions.
That's it.
Do you have Greensleeves lyrics?
I think that there might be a lot of different variations of it.
Variations of Greensleeves.
Let's see. There's the Olivia Newton-John version. And let's see. What does she say? No, it's.
That's all right, Rob. I'm okay to just drop the whole Greensleeves thing. We can close up the show and never talk about it again.
All right. Well, anyway.
Stupid Greensleeves.
All right, so we are getting down to it. Only how many episodes left? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 6 episodes left of Sons.
It's happening. We're on the other side of the mountain now.
We're on the other side, and it's all downhill from here, very literally and figuratively.
Yeah. Poor Bobby. I hope he's okay.
I hope he's okay. Do you think Bobby survives to the end of the series?
I don't know. It doesn't look good, right?
Let's go around the horn real quick, and let's just check in on all the characters. You tell me, are they still alive at the end of the series? Start with Bobby.
Yes.
Bobby is still alive. Eye patch?
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, or is he just gonna have no eyeball?
Otto had
just
no
show
eye patch. Yeah.
No, I think he's going eye patch. Gotta go eye patch.
Gotta go eye patch. I think it's a badass look for a biker.
It's not bad. I think we gotta get some eye patch, Bobby.
Yeah. Okay. Tig.
I think, honestly, the truth is, I think most of the Sons are gonna be okay.
Juice.
I don't think Juice. I keep saying Juice is gonna die. I still think Juice has to die, but this guy has 9 lives.
Nero.
9,000 lives. Nero, I think, will die.
Gemma,
I think, will die.
Munster.
No, never. Never, ever. Jax, I still think will die.
Alvarez.
Nah. He's got a job. He's got a job to do.
Okay. August Marx.
Director at Redwoody.
Yes. August Marx.
August Marx gotta die.
Gotta die.
Gotta die.
Chucky.
If he's the rat, he's dead.
Chucky's been such a good guy. I think we're gonna.
Has he, Rob?
I think that it's just a plot hole that he didn't mention, that jury didn't mention the thing to Lynn about Tara.
All right.
We'll see. They talked about jury again tonight. I think we're getting some jury stuff soon.
Hopefully.
Yeah. All right. So join us next week when we talk about the next episode of Sons of Anarchy. We'll be joined by Greensleeves himself, Adam Greenblatt.
No. No.
Yes. All right. So make sure you subscribe. Go to postshowrecaps.com/Sons iTunes, and we greatly appreciate it when you give us star ratings and comments on iTunes. It helps more and more people find the show. Josh, you want to give us a tease for what you're working on?
Well, we've got, we're still trucking on Walking Dead. Walking Dead has been great this season, by the way.
Yeah.
Walking Dead for me can be a little hit or miss, but we're 2 episodes deep into season 5 now, and it's been fantastic. I've really been enjoying this season.
No, I think they really figured out what they're doing on The Walking Dead.
knock on wood. We got to see what Sunday's episode brings, but we're going to be doing that. We're going to be doing that on Pacific Coast time this coming Sunday night. So after the Pacific Coast airing of The Walking Dead, we're gonna be recapping that, Rob and I. And Sunday night, I guess that's the Boardwalk Empire finale.
Yes, perfect timing.
Perfect timing. So Antonio Mazzaro and Jeremiah Panhorse, they're going to give you some fun stuff to do with that as well.
Okay, all right. So check out everything we got going on postshowrecaps.com. Also, Josh and I did a very fun podcast on Rob Has a Website where we did a whole season of The Walking Dead with a whole season of Survivor with the cast of The Walking Dead. Josh, real quick, who wins Sons of Anarchy Survivor?
Oh my God, I don't want to spoil it. We're gonna have to play that out at some point.
Oh my God. What's the theme?
Survivor Redwood.
Yeah. What's the theme?
I would say heroes versus villains, but it would just be one tribe of villains.
Yeah, we'd have to
versus I don't know, Unser, not even Unser.
We might have to do brains versus beauty versus brawn.
That'd be pretty good.
All right. Have a great week, everybody. We'll talk to you again soon. Please let us know what you think in the comments, and we'll see you next week.